own words why he left or why he did the khuruj, why he stood up. He was doing it for one reason. That reason was Islah bi ummati jaddi. He wanted to correct the deviations in Islam, the degradation of the society. People, they were not following the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to correct that. Now, what's interesting is that in that time, Islam was forgotten. There was many deviations in society. Now if you look at it and you apply that, in our time, because what do we say? كُلُّ يَوْمٍ عَاشُورَا وَكُلُّ أَرْضٍ كَرْبَلَا. All the applications that happened in Karbala in that time, they are alive in this time as well. So, there are many distortions in Islam at that time. There are also distortions in Islam today. And you know, in the current situation in the Middle East, it became very apparent in the world who are the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, or who are those people who stand on the ideals of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in this situation, in the current situation in the Middle East. You can see that. And you know what's interesting? I also saw a political analyst, he's not even Muslim, he's a Christian guy. And what he said, he was talking about the war that was going on between Israel and Iran. And he was saying that all of the people that they're fighting are the Shia. They're fighting the Shia people. And he was not even Muslim. He was a Christian. Or he didn't mention his religion, but he's not Muslim. He said, do you know who the Shias follow? He said the Shias follow Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Okay.
And since they follow Imam Hussein, you know what Imam Hussein stood for? He had the choice. Imam Hussein is a symbol. He had the choice. بين السلة والذلة. Imam Hussein had a choice. What was his choice? He either stands on his values, either he faces the sword or humiliation. Either he dies or he faces humiliation. And he said what? He says, Hayhat minna dhillah. Hayhat minna dhillah. So Imam al-Hussein, his message was what? Never bow to humiliation. So now this political analyst, I saw this on the news. He said what Netanyahu he wants, or what they basically want to do, they want to stimulate the Shias. Because once you stimulate the Shias, they won't bend, they will fight. So they wanted to put all the bombs towards the Shia people, so that they start to fight, America gets involved, and things happen. So basically, that's what he said. Now, imagine, a person who's not even Muslim recognized what the lovers of Ahlul Bayt are, what Imam al-Hussein stands for. He understood what Imam Hussein stands for. And in fact, many historians, many sociologists, they realize what Imam Hussein stands for. Imagine, just for 1 second, imagine a man, he is dying for a cause. He has the chance to get everybody to support him. He was in Medina, he was in Makkah, something we already mentioned in the previous lectures. But he was triaging the people. He didn't want everybody to support him. He only wanted the purest of the pure to support him. He didn't take anybody else. He told them, I'm not going to give you positions. I'm not going to give you any government. There's nothing I'm going to give you. I only want the purest of the pure. I'm only correcting the religion of Islam. I'm only bringing back the religion that my grandfather brought. So this is my message. That was his message, and then he did not take anyone. How many people? Medina, Mecca, Kufa, everyone. How many people actually showed up? The total ashab, maybe the question for the youngsters. How many ashab did Imam al-Hussein actually have? What was the number of his ashab? Was it 300? No. Was it 100? No. 72. The famous thing is that it was 72. He only had 72 ashab out of all of the people. Maybe 1 or 2 were from Kufa, Habib ibn Mawahib. But the rest, that was it. So he did not have as many followers. So now, I want to just talk about this one, in the brief time that I have, I want to talk about this one concept of true imamat and what it means to follow imamat. And then inshallah we'll go to Masaib in the time that I have. Please say salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali. So we know, brothers and sisters, that imamat is a concept that is in the Quran. It's not a concept that you and I made up. It's a concept in the Quran. And actually, in the time of Banu Umayyah, they removed the concept of imamat. What is imamat? And if we want to understand what imamat is, we should look at the Quran. Imamat, it says in Surah Anbiya, ayah 73, وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. We made you imams, يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. They guide with our amr. These are the imams. So now the function of the imams is to do what? The function of the imams is to give hidayah. Imamat is different than nubuwwah. Imamat is different than risala. Imamat is different than khalifa. Imamat is a divine position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave. The other ayah, most of the elders would have known this ayah, is the ayah of Hazrat Ibrahim. Hazrat Ibrahim, he was asked, or he was tested. وَإِذَا ابْتِلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَتَمَّهُنَّ. We tested Ibrahim with many tests, and then he passed those tests. وَجَعَلْنَاهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِمَامًا. And after that we made him an imam. Now, Hazrat Ibrahim, he then asked, as soon as he got the title of an imam, he asked what? وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي. What about my family? I want this imam to be in my family. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي. So now, what does it mean? What does this mean in the Quran? It means that nubuwwah is finished. Risala is finished. But imama is still alive. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي means it is still alive to this day. It was alive at the time of Imam Ali, and is alive in this day in the Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
So inshallah, brothers and sisters, tomorrow I will explore more on this. Today I wanted to talk about one of the people who recognized Imam Hussein, and that was Habib ibn Mawahir. Habib ibn Mawahir, you know, we talked about Bishr ibn Ghalib. He didn't choose the Imam, but Habib ibn Mawahir, he did choose the Imam. The Arbab of the Azhar say that, you know, Habib, when he was a young boy, Rasulullah, he was sitting on the mimbar, and Habib was playing. So he told the Ashab, bring me the son of Mawahir. So he was like just literally sitting there playing around. They brought him the son of Mawahir. He was on the mimbar, he hugged him, he kissed him. So people, they asked him, why are you giving the son of Mawahir so much love? So he says, you don't see what I see. I see when Hussein walks, this little boy, Habib ibn Mawahir, he picks up the sand and he puts it on his head. This is how much Habib ibn Mawahir, he loved Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. And so when Habib grows up, you know, when he grows up, he's an old man, and it said when he was in Karbala, when he went to Karbala, he saw Imam Hussein, he says, you know, when I see you, Ya Aba Abdullah, I feel young. I feel young, I have like the power. Even though he's an old man, it's like, I see you, you rejuvenate me. I have the strength and energy and zeal. I want to go to jihad. So Imam Hussein, it's in the time where in Ashura, or even before Ashura, the army of the Ashqiya, day upon day, soldiers and soldiers are coming into the army of Yazid. And you know how they used to scare the children of Imam Hussein? They used to gallop the horses, beat the drums, so that they can make the children of Hussein afraid, so they can try to make them scared. So then Masahib Zainab, she comes and she says, Yabna Rasulullah, do you not have a Habib who can come to us? And then Imam Hussein, he writes a letter. This letter, it goes to Kufa. And Kufa is a time of terror. This letter, it reaches the house of Habib. Habib, he's having supper with his wife. There's a knock on the door. Habib comes, he asks, who is on the door? He doesn't know, it's a time of terror. He says, Ana Urid al-Hussein. I am the messenger of Hussein. So then he looks at the letter, he opens it, he kisses the letter, he puts it on his lips, he puts it on his forehead, he opens the letter. He opens the letter and it says, من الحسين ابن علي إلى الرجل الفقيه حبيب ابن مظاهر. He says, oh Habib, they have surrounded me in the desert in Karbala. He says to Habib, come al-ajal, come quick. So Habib very quickly, he makes his servant, he makes everything ready. He sent his servant out and he says, wait for me in the night. And then he goes, in the middle of the night, he escapes and he goes with his servant to Karbala. And then when on the day of Ashura, Hussein sees a cloud of dust approaching. He sees somebody is approaching. They come closer. Habib sees Hussein. Hussein sees Habib. Habib gets off his horse. Habib goes to Hussein. He kisses the hands of Hussein. He kisses the hand. He says, Ya Mawla, my wife, she says salam to you. I am here. The ashab are rejoicing. The friend of Hussein is here. There is joy and laughter in the camps of Hussein. Zainab hears this. She says, Ya Fidda, go and see what is this commotion about. And then when Fidda goes and she sees it's Habib ibn Mudahir, she says, give my salam to Habib. Then Fidda, she goes, the books of Riwayah say, when Habib ibn Mudahir heard the daughter of Zahra saying salam, he begins to hit his cheek. وَحَفَّ التُّرَابَ عَلَى رَأْسِهِ. He takes the dust of Karbala and he's hitting it on his head. من أنا ومن أكون حتى تسلم علي بنت أمير المؤمنين. Who am I? And who is the daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen? Who is giving me salam? But in Riwayat says Habib, he fought and he died. This one last statement I want to make in his Masaib. It is said the son of Habib, when the arrows, when the Ashqiya, they were taking the head of Habib in the bazaar, in the souk, and his son, he sees the head of his father. He says, this is the head of my father. Nobody can take the head while his warith is still alive. My son, I'm his son, I'm still alive, you cannot take his head. And then suddenly if you hear, there is the sound of the shackles of Ali Zayn al-Abidin. I would say, watch what you say, oh son of Habib. Zayn al-Abidin is behind. He is also watching the head of Aba Abdullah. He sees the head of his father, Aba Abdullah. He will probably say, I am your warith, I am your son, but I cannot help you. Wa madluma wa ghariba wa Husayna. على لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مسبوقة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.